Everyone, welcome in. I am going to get into a quick video on the Idaho Quadruple murder, which is still unbelievable that they have not made an arrest. But the more I listen and the more I look, I'm starting to think that the target was at Madison. And with that, let's get into it. I am going to do this video a little bit different. Johnny Law came out with a video that I am going to start with. And since the basic forensic results initial report came out to where they told us what rooms everybody was supposed to be in, we had it wrong. The room that I believe was targeted was the room that Maddie was in. Let's go listen to Jonathan Law.
On the second floor, we're going to go up these stairs here. These stairs take you up, and they button hook around and come up to this hallway. You button hook to the left. This is on the diagram 3B, which is suspected Kaylee's room. You button hook to the right. There is a bath here, and this is Maddie's bedroom. Whether they were there at the time on November 13th is unconfirmed. More than likely, if that is their bedroom, then that is most likely where they were sleeping. There are pictures of Maddie here with an M in the window and some purple boots. So if that's, following with that pieces of evidence, if those are her boots and she's seen with those boots, as well as the M for Maddie, it would lead one to believe this is probably.
Okay, the timeline real quick. At 1 a.m., Brittany and Dylan arrive home to 1122 King. 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Madison leave the corner bar in downtown Moscow. 1:40, they are seen at the grub truck on 318 South Main Street. 1:45 a.m., Kaylee called for an Uber per Kaylee's mom and sister. 1:45, Ethan and Santa arrive at the residence on King Road. 1:49 a.m., Uber arrived to pick up Kaylee and Maddie per Kaylee's mom and sister. 1:56 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie arrive home per Kaylee's mom and sister. Finally confirmed by law enforcement on 11/25/2022. Between 2:26 to 2:52 a.m., Kaylee's and Maddie's phone were calling Jack's phone. And between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. were allegedly the murders. So with that timeline and everything I've listened to in that corner section at the house where Maddie's room is, I just feel it was a Madison that was targeted, especially if Kaylee was already home. It does. So we have the sketch that's out. So if we look at the second floor on the top left, the green box at the rear, that is a Madison's room. We've got the pink boots in the window, and we have the M, probably for Madison. And that leaves the creeper outside in that bush line, back to the left of the house on this view. So I am almost convinced that it was a stalker out there watching that corner upstairs bedroom. Supposedly Kaylee came in that day to show her the Range Rover and go to a party. They were in the same room. Listen, let's go over and jump to the maps real quick and I'll show you. It's kind of like in chronological order of how they came home to how I think the creeper was up and waiting in those bushes for everyone to get home. He knew that house. We've got the corner bar, we've got the food truck up here on Main Street. So as they leave, whether it's Uber a sorority driver, however they got to the house. Maddie and Kaylee. Over here, we have the sorority house at 735 Nez Perce, where Xana and Ethan were. Look, it's a short little walk right across the street to King Road. 11222. Back here. So even though it looks like it's a big bush line, it's not really that big. But it's big enough for the creeper to hide. And what is this? So if there's nobody back here off of Queen Road, and there's the house. I wonder how long Kaylee and Maddie have been in that house, considering Kaylee was going to graduate in December. So the house, the tree line, and unfortunately we can't get up there. Right back here is where I believe that creeper stood in wait. Horrible. And then we know about all of the calls for service with all of the reports that were not reported. An example right here on top. If you did not see a last Nights Alive, I will go ahead and attach it right here in the upper corner. Let's end this video on a Dale Carson and a message from Kaylee's sister.
Recently, I was on a podcast with Nancy Grace about the killings in Moscow, Idaho. There were 4 students who were stabbed to death during their sleep, and I have some advice that I would like to propose to you viewers that may prevent this from happening to you. And here's the deal. When I was with the FBI, I taught murder investigations and sex crimes. And there's a lot of crossover between those two courses. And what I have learned is this, that often serial killers and rapists, general assailants against women, are motivated by visual triggers, and they are amplified in the predator by a biologic imperative to reproduce. That combination energizes them in a way that not everyone understands. In society, we see polar opposites. In the Muslim tradition, women are required to wear all kinds of coverings. One of the reasons for that is to prevent triggering of males. In the United States, we're different. We allow women to dress how they choose. And that's certainly appropriate from my perspective. But the difficulty is that in that particular Moscow, Idaho event, it's clear to me as a sex crime instructor and as a murder instructor, death instructor, this happened because someone was laying in wait for these individuals who lived in this housing apartment next to the college. Someone targeted them. And what that means to me is they laid in the woods over some period of time and watched the back of this house. Now, if you look at the back of the house, and I've seen drone footage, I have not actually been there, but it's clear that the windows in the back of the house had very little in the way of window coverings. What can happen is that individuals, you feel safe inside your room, and so you're not entirely clothed all the time. And in some cases, not at all, because you feel comfortable. But if you're displaying yourself to the exterior world in that sort of environment, you are putting yourself at risk, because visually men are stimulated. And if you have someone who is a predator in the neighborhood, he is looking for just that vantage point to sit and watch. And that allows him to prepare, because we know historically that stalkers, predators, they prepare. Now, there's another point. Earlier, there was a dog killed, and I know that law enforcement is saying there's no connection. But typically individuals who engage in these kinds of murders have to prepare for it. They have to have the sensation. They have to feel like they can really go through with it. And it's clear that this dog was skinned. Well, that uses a knife, and certainly there's likely to be a connection between the two. What I'm saying here is that's the preparatory act. Then because someone's been watching through your windows for a protracted period of time, they know when and where, and they've already formulated how. So look, I don't care whether you choose to be fully covered in clothing or not, but I can honestly tell you that the evil in our world prepares for and utilizes your naiveness in a way that benefits them and not you. So if you want to reduce your risk, you've got to recognize that oftentimes predator target males will go to extremes to watch you while you're not close. And we see that today. Cameras are placed in various locations, but here in a college town, there's a lot of freedom, and that draws these kinds of predators. I simply am telling you that you've got to be more cautious with, even though you may feel comfortable in your own room, you've got to be more cautious with what you display to the outside world. I hope this helps you. If you have questions, feel free to contact my office. You can find us at www.dalecarsonlaw.com.
My sister was absolutely a door locker. This was the party house, and it's been generations. And so I won't say that they were very private with that code.
And with that, guys, I think it's a wrap. And hopefully they catch this monster soon.